What's happening, people? Welcome to the Unfiltered podcast number 6. Big up to everybody who's watching right now. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have a good panel again with us today. Adam, how are you, mate? Everything okay?
Yeah, thank you, Saeed. I'm all right. Hope you're good as well.
Yeah, man, we're good as can be, as they say. Big up to Charlie. Charlie, how are you, mate?
Surviving, mate. Surviving. How are you?
Yeah, you know what? That's the key word, surviving. And I don't know where Musa, I think you're in the Matrix, man. Your camera's still green.
It's still green.
Yeah, green, man. You're in the Matrix. That's like what Ollie's done, man.
No, that's mad, because when I can see myself clearly, HD. What's going on?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You might have to use someone else's phone or
because when I'm looking at the image, I can see all of our 4 faces, like as usual.
Yeah, but we I think you Charlie, can you see the green screen?
Yeah. It's
Ask the guys, hey, can you not see me online, or you can't see me?
Yeah, let them know online. Can you see Musa?
Can you guys see
is he
me?
in the Matrix? Is he in the Matrix?
Someone saying big up Musa. Can you see me?
Yeah, I think they're just saying big up Musa, but I think they just let them know if you can see Musa.
If you guys see me,
only green.
Nah, green. Matrix.
He's saying someone said it's the Ollie effect. I want to come out and come in. Someone said it's the Ollie effect.
It's the Ollie effect.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Yeah, no worries, man. Come back in time. Let's start. Big up to everybody who's watching right now. Like the video, please. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow these guys as well. We're going to start with you, Adam. Man United turmoil. Is that the best way to describe United in a minute?
Yeah,
it's a turmoil mess from top to bottom.
Yeah, it is. It's an absolute mess, Saeed. It's actually unbelievable. It really, really is. Like, we get slapped left, right, and center, and nothing happened. It's every time Manchester United play, it's embarrassing, and just everything is wrong. Everything is wrong at the club. We can't even sack a manager properly. We can't even do that. It's embarrassing. It really is. It really is. Turmoil has to be the best way to put it.
Charlie, how would you describe the kind of feeling at Old Trafford right now? It looks like a one of kind of apathy. One of like maybe some people feeling very, very kind of disinterested with United at the minute. How would you feel? How would you describe United at the minute so far?
Well, it's not a football club. It's not a big football club anymore in terms of how it acts. Obviously, we've got a huge fan base. Obviously, everybody knows Man United around the world, but this notion of Man United being a big club is sort of dying off. It really, really is. Honestly, we're not acting like a big football club. We've got teams around us, even not even on a football sense. We've just got teams around us. This the way they act, the projects they have. We're just nowhere near the level, really. And it's just a shambles, really. It really, really is a shambles. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to find words at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to find words to describe sort of what's going on.
It is. You know what I mean? Adam, how would you describe, or how do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the job? What do you think that if there was any kind of reasoning for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to still be in the job after the humiliation of the derby, because it was a humiliation for me, more humiliating than the 5-0, because it was a fact that we had only 4 touches in the opposition box, the lowest since up to stats began for Man United. It's humiliating, isn't it?
It's a disgrace, Saeed. It's an absolute disgrace. And to answer your question, I believe we always knew that this board was incompetent, but they keep on stinging us every single time. Like, every time you believe like this is the rock bottom level of incompetence, they push it again and again, and they always come up with a bang. And I believe that means when they gave him the contract this summer, they really believed he was good and he was going to do something, and they were not even considering other options. That's what it means to me. It means to me that Ole is good, and that he is second place, and Ronaldo, Varane, Sancho, everything. That means we are going in they really don't understand the game. They really don't. They don't watch it. They are not there at the games. They just don't have a clue about what's going on. So I believe that he hasn't been sacked because they don't know who to get, and they want someone that will not stir trouble at the club. They don't want someone like Antonio Conte because of what happened with Jose Mourinho and Van Gaal, because they were very, very vocal about how poorly run the club is. They don't want someone like Ralph Rangnick because I believe he wants a senior role after that as a part of the structure, and they don't want someone to come and undermine the entire structure because they form a little clique of friends there. And this is why now they are waiting for someone that they can say that will not give him any trouble. They want someone like Pochettino, who's been used to work with someone like Daniel Levy at Spurs, and someone who will not stir too much trouble. But I believe that's the reason. But it is not a good enough reason. Sack him. Just sack him. Just get it done. Just get it done, and then we'll figure it out. And I've been Ole out for. I never wanted Ole to get the job in the first place, and I've always said it doesn't mean because I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that they are going to appoint the next manager is going to be a good appointment. Doesn't mean that at all, but at least get it done. Please get it done.
Yeah. Musa, you're still on Greasy, but you know what you should do, Musa? Just take your camera off and then you can just speak as audio if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it like that. You don't mind. Just for today.
Okay, cool. No problem. Can you...
Yeah. You can hear you now. I was talking to everyone else and talking about the situation at Ole, turmoil. How do you describe it at the minute? Obviously, we've not spoke to you for about 2 weeks now. How do you describe the feeling right now?
Oh, the Oli is just. You know what? The worst thing is that I think as much as like we all want Oli out, and I'm definitely a person who's like, yeah, Oli out, get Oli out club. It's like I think we've gone past that now, because I think we've got to the point where now it's like, I don't know, it's like we want to create some type of mental health for the man. Because where are we going with like the club not speaking about what they're doing, him being sent away back to his country with his family, the players, I don't know if the players are back in training yet. And I'm thinking to myself,
week off.
They've been given a week off, that's what I'm saying. And no one's saying a word, nothing's going on. And then everybody and his dog has an opinion about Oli now. It's got to the point where Oli has to kind of switch off from the whole world. Like this is like, you have to understand, Man United is one of the most high-pressured jobs out there in world football or in world sport altogether. And to be a manager who came in as an interim, who didn't have the qualifications, to be allowed to stay by the club and supported by the club all the way. The club's basically had him on work experience. And you can't have someone come into a job on work experience and keep them and let them manage like a store. And then when things turn upside down and everyone's looking for this man who's been managing the store, who's been supported by the people at the top, those people at the top don't say anything. I think it just shows a lot about the structure of our club and the type of people that we've got, because they're prepared to put a man in this type of position who we all know don't have the qualifications. At the end of the day, Ollie's a Man United legend who scored goals for us and helped us win the European Cup. And we all agree that there's been two times I can remember where Ollie should have left. I think after his second season, when he lost in the Europa League, I think he should have left then. And then I think after last season, where he finished second in the league, if he knew anything about him, because to take Man United second in the Premier League and leave then after rebuilding the club, I think Ollie would have actually got jobs in the league, because that resume, you have to think about it. As much as we might not have liked it as football fans, he's coming to Man United. He's got rid of some players that we didn't like Fellaini and certain other players. He's even sold Dan James at the start of the season, yeah. So, or he wanted to let him go. And a lot of people used to be on certain type of players. So he's got rid of Sanchez, all of that. He's built and bought a squad, which we all believe is a squad that should be challenging. He's finished the league second, and then he's handed it over to someone. I think to a lower league or to a lower club, that looks like a good resume. Like, you've gone in and done something after two big managers that no one else was able to do. You've settled the ship. You know, you've let them. They finished second. You've got to a couple cup finals, and you've actually fixed the squad. I think, you know, teams like Villa and that might have looked at him and said, right, maybe he can do a job here. But what he's been allowed to do then and carry on, the brother, I just like, as much as I'm Ollie out, I just don't have no energy to even say anything about him. I kind of feel sorry for Ollie in the situation that he's in, because he shouldn't have been allowed to stay this long. Anyone or any club with a big structure wouldn't have put one of their club legends in this position for this long. And now the man them are just keeping quiet. You know, like you've got, you know,
what about
like
Musa? He bought Dan
No.
James. Someone says that he bought Dan James though. So it's kind of
no, but that was Ryan Giggs though. Ryan Giggs hyped him and said, "Yo, I got a Welsh real." Ryan Giggs hyped the thing, and then he bought it because Ollie's trying on the job. So for me, at the end of the day, if we look at our first 11 and the bench, come on, guys, we've got an excellent squad here. This is why we're upset with Ollie, because we're saying, Ollie, you've built a good team, a good squad. You know you're not capable of doing it on your own. You haven't got rid of your coaches and got in world-class coaches. So you're taking a piss now, Ollie. Just, all right, cool. You've taken us as far as you can. Let us be. And I think if Ollie would have left at the end of the season, a lot of us would have had to look back at his tenure as a successful one to an extent. Do you know what I'm saying? Because he's built the club, he's left us in second, and now we've got a new manager who actually knows what he's doing. We would be challenging right now, thinking, yeah, this is it. Third season, Man United got a squad, we're challenging, we're playing good football. And I don't think we would be looking at Ollie's tenure as we are now. And I'm kind of just like thinking, yeah, when I look at, like, if you would have saw the interview after the Man City game, man didn't even know what to say. He was lost, bro. So I don't know.
It's for me. It's yeah, man. I just feel like one of a situation where I think this was coming, Charlie. You know what I mean? Everything was coming, like Musa says, but the club haven't acted. I'm hearing reports today on the United report. It says here, Ralph Rangnick, it's not a favourite to be a Man United manager if Ollie's sacked. He wants full power on everything at the club. He'll always be appreciated by people on the board, but he's not the main option right now. You know, it just kind of sums up the feel at the club that they don't want to lose power over something that they never have control of anyway. You know, and it's like, who are they looking at? Who are they actually looking at to replace Ollie? Do they have a plan? Do you think they even know what's going on with our club right now?
No, they've got no clue. They've got absolutely no clue. So, like, as I said before, if the people in charge were football people, they would have known that this season it was very, very likely to all come tumbling down. Because I said before the season started, I said we're not going to win a trophy under Ollie, and I was when on various shows saying it, and I was I was sort of the odd one out. Everybody else was saying, "Oh, we're going to win the league. We're going to do this." I said there is no chance we're going to win anything if these same issues keep repeating on the football pitch. And there were the same issues. We've seen it come out in reports. Favoritism of certain players. You've got the same Fred and McTominay setup, playing so many forward players, not dropping players when they're not playing well. You could go on all day talking about these problems, and none of them, it's the same problems. No goal. We haven't scored one goal from a set piece this season, and we're still conceding goals from set. You know, title winning teams gone down. You remember Van Dijk, you remember John Terry, Nemanja Vidic, Rio Ferdinand. You need your centre halves to score 5 goals for you a season from set pieces. You go down the title winning teams down. You remember Diaz and Stones last season scoring goals. We've never had it. That's something we've really lacked. How many goals has Maguire scored? I mean, for his height, for his stature, he should be knocking 10 in a season. We've just never had it. So these same issues repeating. But the Glazers and the board, they thought that we were progressing. They thought that we were getting better. So firstly, they didn't look for anybody else. Then we got into the situation where they said, firstly, we had a bad run of form. They weren't looking for anybody because they still thought he could turn it around. Then they gave him 3 games to turn around everything. So if they were giving him that time, which I don't even know, I don't even think that's even true. I think it might have just been a bit of a PR spin, to be honest. But even if they were giving him those 3 games, Spurs, City, Atalanta and City, they should have then been looking for replacements during that time in case he didn't turn it around. We all knew that, you cannot come back from everything, especially in the Liverpool game. But even if he would have come back in the Glazers' eyes, if he would have come back, they would have at least had a replacement ready in case he wouldn't have done. But they didn't even have that. So now they're in a situation where we've been absolutely the City game was worse than the Liverpool game for me. It was destruction
Absolutely.
in a completely different way. Completely different way. The Liverpool game was more naivety, I think, at times, the way we set up. The City game was National League level to Champions League level. That was the difference between the two sides. It was appalling. But like we've had this City game now, and they're obviously not prepared because they still don't know what they're doing. And this football club made a huge mistake after the Liverpool game. They did not hire Antonio. Antonio Conte was there, and we didn't get him. And honestly, if Antonio Conte would have came, we would have still been in a title race. It would have been tough. I'm not saying we would have won the title. I don't think we would have done, but we would have been back in it. I think we're now 90-1 to win the title.
90-1.
West Ham are 55-1. So West Ham almost half the odds than we are. West Ham.
Wow, Adam, it just tells you everything there is to know about United at the minute. And apparently, what I'm hearing, I think Tom McDermott said it's that maybe they're waiting for top 4 to be impossible, and then they'll plug the thingy. But we had aims to kind of almost, be positive this season, at least go and challenge for the league title, not win it, not go, just be in with the reckoning. Because of Ronaldo or Varane. And I know that midfield was probably not the best. And I know the manager's not the greatest, but you can't keep saying all these things when you've got the squad there. You can't, you'll have friends, I will say to you, and you'll play down United because of the manager. You'll be like, no, you've got the players there. And that was the aim for the season. And the club are now just thinking about top 4, What is this?
Yeah.
I don't understand it. A club of Man United standard. And I don't even think we're getting top 4 this season, by the way. I don't know what you guys say. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer remains, Man United are not getting top 4 because West Ham, everyone's playing better football than us. And that's the problem with United.
Of course, I have to agree with you. Man, the standards are so low. It's actually, I stand with Charlie, actually. I agree with Charlie. Before the season started, I had absolutely no expectation to win a cup or a trophy or a league, and nothing at all. Really didn't, because we live in an era of football where talent and good players are not enough. You need to bridge. You don't get 95 points with good players.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. The great teams that scored 90+ points had great managers and great teams. People don't realize how difficult it is to score that many points in the league. It is too difficult, and then you need to sustain it, and you need to make it. To do it in different cups, in the Carabao Cup, in the FA Cup, the Champions League, we are struggling to get out of the group stage in what is considered to be one of the easiest group there. Yeah, no, it's very bad, Said. It's very bad. As you said, the standards are it's dropping by the day, and of course we should have been challenging because of the squad we have, and the simple fact that they are talking in the report you just talked about top 4 or something. It just tells you they are waiting for the bad stuff to happen, then they act, then they react to it. Well, just make a move now. Make a move now while it is still possible to at least get a cup, get to, I don't know, quarterfinals, semi-finals in the Champions League, get competitive, and you are winning times. If you get a good manager now, well, at least you give him 6 months.
I know.
You do not just bring him in the summer and then we start the season and then it's like we get used to the players get used to the manager, and then you try to work out the tactics and everything. Give him the 6 months, the next 6 months. Just like write it off, get the fitness if he wants to press, get the players, get him to know the players, get him to know what players are needed for the squad in the summer or something. Just make a move right now, because it's very annoying. It's very annoying, and we can't. This is the situation you are in at the moment. We can't be happy when we win, and we can't be happy when we lose. It's just like a lose-lose situation.
It's mad, man. That's the best feeling to sum it up, because when we're winning, you almost know that it's not sustainable. And when we're losing,
it's just bad. It's just bad.
It's, you know what, man? And that's the reality. You know what I mean, Musa? I'm just going to touch on a subject about the fans, Musa, because I feel like there's a bit of I think civil war. That's probably the best way to explain it. Civil war and ambition for me, because I feel like there's a certain fan base who are blindly following the club, whether that's through that they think they're hard fans and they think that you should never ever go against the club and the manager. And for me, I've had conversations with them, on the train, and one of the lads, what they said to me was, he said, we'll let the club figure out what it's gonna do. Until then, we'll keep supporting the club. And for me, I was like, well, you know, would you keep following a road that's never ending? You know what I mean? What would you do? You know what I mean? Would you jump off the cliff? You know what I mean? Would you? I don't know. I just thought for me, it was like the blind leading the blind, Wilson. And I was just thinking to myself, you've got a fan base who've had enough. I want the manager out. And I don't know if you know about the Glazer protest, but for me, the reason I'm going to the Glazer protest is I want the regime out. I want to know what the ambition is. I want the owners to hear our voice that we're not happy with the way the club's being run, with the ambitions of the club. You know what I mean? And that's the whole, whether that's concluding the manager, whether that's concluding one. I don't know how, by the way, fans are saying they're not going to the protest because you're going against a manager when everything's linked together anyway. You know what I mean? So I don't understand that narrative anyway. I try to be reasonable and say, you know, we're going for the whole regime. But in reality, everyone is hearing. We want them to hear our voice, Musa. But then people are saying now, well, we don't go against our manager. We don't say that, you know, our manager should be sacked and whatnot. Well, what do you say then as fan? Do you just then become an enabler? Do you then just become an acceptance of mediocrity? What do you do then, Musa? Do you just say that
it's
you accept what's going on right now?
No, I think it's a lot, man. I just think like it's a natural state sometimes for fans to be hypocritical because these are the same fans that think it's okay to call for players who are not playing well. Like, I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? You call for a player's head, you disregard everything that the player's ever won in his history. Like, let me give an example. One of the best examples for this is Fred. I swear Fred was player of the season like 2 years ago or a year ago when he was our best midfielder and he was saving us. Like, do we forget? Like, he was wasn't he voted like player of the season or something like that by the fans? And I think to myself, like, cool, there has to be a level of like respecting that someone can be doing well and then someone can be doing bad. And when someone's doing bad over a persistent period of time, you have to then also be able to say, you know what, this is not good enough. And if we do that with players so often, you know, like someone like Paul Pogba, who's also a perfect example, who's won a load of things in his career, but fans will be like, he's not a Man United player, get him out of here, what can he do, blah, blah, blah. Paul Pogba is more of a Man United player than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a Man United manager. Do you know what I'm saying? He has more credentials. There are a load of players in there who are better Man United players or better fit for a Man United player than Ole is as a coach. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they've done things in the game, but yet people will call for their heads. Calling for Ole isn't something that, like, you know what I mean, isn't a hit at United or that you don't support the club or all of that nonsense. So sometimes I just don't get it. There's always going to be fans that are just like patriotic. They're on this, you know, it doesn't matter what you know, where I get sent, you know, like soldiers in the army. They don't care where they're getting sent. They're just going to do a job. As long as Man United tell me to stand still, I'm standing still. I'm not going anywhere. Like, no, that's not how things go. You have to have a mind of your own. You have to do what's right. You have to sometimes go. And I always say to people, nothing ever changes in life unless people come out and have a stance. Like, women didn't get their rights because the government came out one day and said, you know what, we're going to start giving women. They had to come out and march. People always going like, oh, just wait, they'll sort it out. The people sort. When have anyone sorted out anything? It's all people have always had to come out. I've never seen anywhere in history where things just get sorted out unless people protest, unless people march, unless actually sometimes people have to fight for what they believe in. So for me, if Man United fans want to see a change, there is many ways. There's media outlets. This is a media outlet. There's us voicing our opinions, saying how we feel. And as we know, like they've been saying recently, they monitor online experiences from our fans, what we think, what we say, and like their social media guy was saying, they start tweaking it. So at the end of the day, we got to carry on talking. And I'm thinking to myself, a video came up on the YouTube the other day that was like a year and a half ago, and everything Saeed was saying was what he's saying today. And that's when people were saying he was toxic. And I'm thinking, listen, these people have got to come back and they got to do a moonwalk and go back in time, mate, and apologize. Because I'm thinking, how, like, a lot of the problems that Ole's had have been consistent. If you really look back at it, Ole hasn't really changed much. And I think it's very sad that, or what's happened is that as football fans and our love for our club legends, and especially that moment in time means so much to the Man United fans. I think it's allowed us to give Ollie.
But it's sentiment, though. Sentiment has allowed that to cloud your judgment.
100%. Because you know what it is. It's like that girl you like. Everyone's telling you she's a wrong un, but you like her. The sentiment is there. You're thinking, nah, this is my babes. And everyone's seen it. And then next homecoming or party, she rolls up with the next guy, the opposition, the City fan. And you're like, "Bro, what happened?" And everyone told you. So it's that sentiment. We got that for Ollie, and we've had it for a long time. But now I've realised, mate, Ollie's bad business, mate. It's bad business for Man United. He just got
you know what? Absolutely. Ty Brown here with a super chat. Big up to Ty Brown. He goes, if Ollie stays, how much dollar will they give him for the winter window? And should we replace centre back or get a midfielder? I'll ask you that question, Charlie. What do you reckon?
How much will they give him?
He hasn't got the best at what he's got.
Well, I imagine they'll probably give him one 30 million signing, something like that. I think it'll probably be a midfield player, but we could talk about players all we like. It's not like I wouldn't like put any midfielder in our team with the way it is at the moment. It's not going to make much difference at all. It really isn't. Like it's just
And
what
about the question I just asked Musa? In terms of the sentiment in the United fan base, people saying that they won't turn up. And by the way, a lot of people have spun this, and there was and I know who the guy who made the poster, and he corrected it, and he made a mistake. And he put Ollie out on it when in reality he was just frustrated. But the problem is what a lot of people have done is they've penny pinched at that, and they've said, "Nah, not in our name." And there's fans, there's fan groups, and there's media corporations or whatever you want to call them, right? And now they're saying that we won't go against the manager. And they're almost making the protest something negative when it's supposed to be something where it's for all. It's not a case of, I want this for my own gain, Charlie. We all want it. We all know. Deep down, if you ask them, is the manager good enough? They'll say to you, no. So why won't you come out to Saturday and say, this whole regime and this whole process that United keep telling us, the DNA and all that, and, going back to the philosophy of where United's been built on, it's all lies. So why won't you come and say and stand against it? Why? I don't understand. For me,
it's because it's because of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer legend stuff and everything. I think that's the big thing. I agree with what you say about. He's back with his camera.
Yeah. He's back now.
I think on the laptop.
Yeah, no worries.
I think it's all about this is what it's been about for a long, long time. There's a lot of fans, and there's still fans. I just don't understand it. There's still fans out on Twitter saying, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'd still want him to turn it around. What about if he wins the treble? Just these people are just like they need their head knocking. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. There's these people that are still hoping and praying out for all this, but I don't know what to say, but this protest, a lot of people are like,
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
So a lot of people are thinking they're not going because sort of it's against Ollie and stuff, but it's just a tough one. I think I at halftime at the Liverpool game, I was booing and I actually shouted a few things about Ollie. Nobody said anything around me, but around some of the fan base, some of the fan base think that you can't boo or anything, or you can't say this during a game, and it's like a dictatorship at times in Old Trafford. Some of the fans, it's like a dictatorship. It's like you have to back everybody, but then when it's Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial, they're throwing all abuse at them. So it's like what Musa said earlier about the criticizing. Some people give abuse towards players. It's always the same players that get the abuse. It's always the same players when things go wrong. Normally the black players that are not English that get the abuse, whereas nothing's said about the white English players. But it is like a dictatorship in Old Trafford sometimes with the TRA. And, I've got no problem with anybody having an opinion or anybody want to support the club in their way. But don't you dare tell me how I have to support my club. I can support my club how I want. As long as I'm respectful towards the manager, and as long as I'm not shouting, if you're shouting, kill Ollie and all this, obviously that's not right at all. He's a human being, right? But as long as I'm respectful towards the manager, the players, and other fans around me, I can say what I want. Adam can say what he wants. Musa can say what Sai can say. If you want to sit there and you want to chant and sing Ollie's name, you can do that. But don't tell me that I have to do that as well, because I don't have to do that. If I don't think he's the right manager, I don't have to do that. And this is the thing about the protest. If you want to go, you go. If you don't want to go, don't go. You don't need to be telling everybody what they can and can't do. And like, as I said before, this thing about the foreign fan base as well, it's like there's these people, I see it every day, sort of proper fans, you have to go to Old Trafford. It's a load of rubbish. It's a load of rubbish. Just because you're from India, because you're from China, doesn't mean that you're not a proper fan. These people stay up all hours watching Man United. You know,
they do.
There's so much disrespect towards these fans at times. And I'm a match-going fan, and not many people call it out, but it is true. They're always picking on these foreign fans. And
they do. I see it with my own eyes, mate. You know.
Yeah, I see it all the time. I see it all the time.
And yeah, big up to Zayn Miasi with a super sticker. I see it all the time, man. For me, you know, it's this elitism in Man United fan base that doesn't get spoken about, Adam. And a lot of people don't want to talk about it. But for me, I've never ever shown away from my feelings towards anything. I've always been kind of upfront. You know, I've never ever shy away from anything. And I think there's a little elitism, which I don't see in any other fan base in world football. I really, really don't. I think Man United is the only club that I see it in where it's if you're not from us, then your value is not kind of taken. You know, I remember when I did the first protest, it was like people were calling it fake protest. People were calling it not the real one. I see people saying that, you know, look what protest they did and compared to the one they did after that. You know, we're not here for kind of point scoring, Adam. We're here because we want the club to win. And a lot of people, they don't understand that, you know. Without the global fan base, there is no United. You know, if you want to talk about how United are run, there is no, you know, United if you don't have the global fan base.
Exactly. That's the problem I have, is there's no logical coherence in everything. For example, they backed Ole for 2 years, telling us that he only needed Jadon Sancho for £80 million. Well, Jadon Sancho is not going to buy himself, is it? Because whose money is that? The club is too big. And those people with internet and Twitter in the last 10 years, they just clocked how big the club actually is. Because before social media, before you could access like how large and global the fan base is, they didn't really understand that. They couldn't really grasp it, actually. And so now you have people like me in Canada, you have people in India, like Charlie said, you have people in Singapore who have a say on the club, have an opinion on the club, and who actually analyze the club and the football much better than many of those going fans. So now they feel like they don't own the club anymore, like it's slipping from their control. So the way they found, the way I see it, is they are getting that control back over the club by saying that they are the true real fans, and whether the manager is good or not good, they are actually the real fans because they are singing his name, no matter how bad we are. It's like, look at us, we are very poor, but we are the real fans, and you're not there to support it, so you don't really count. It's like taking control over back the club. And this is, I think it's a fascinating topic, actually, Saeed, because it feels like we have like a switch in the object of loyalty within the fan base. They are not loyal to the club anymore. It's like they are more, the club is like a way to pat themselves on the back and to flatter their own ego. It's like the club is a way that this, not everybody, of course, but a lot of people found a way to be proud of themselves. Like, look, we are shit, but we are still supporting. And you're like, wait, mate, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
What are you supporting?
Exactly. And I'm supporting way more, in the sense that, look, I'm not happy. I'm depressed because of the club. I'm shouting at every game. I'm pissed off for the last 3-4 years. And I still support. I could choose to do something else. I could just choose to do something else or not watch or anything. But I still wake up at 7 a.m. watching Manchester United games and interacting with people, because this is the way we support the club. And supporting the club for me is not being complacent and saying everything is fine. I don't do blind following. I just don't do it. I don't do it with people. I don't do it with family members. I don't do it with religion. I just don't. And I will certainly not do it with football. I just don't do blind following. Just that's something that I don't do, and I think it's a very healthy thing to do. You need to question because if you don't question, if you don't ask the question, if you're not critical, well, then it is a very, very slippery slope to go into. It leaves the door open for things to go badly wrong, very, very badly wrong. And look, yeah, they are supporting the club because they think they are proper fans and this and that. And as Charlie said, if you want to sing, well, just sing, do it. Like I couldn't care less. But look, I want what's best for this club, and what's best for this club is a new board and a new manager and a new structure. This is what's best for the club. So if you are not, if you are against the protest because you feel it's disrespectful towards Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, well, then you are just justifying what the Glazers been doing for the last 3 years. This emotional blackmail trip that they've been doing on us. Well, it's working. This is exactly why they are doing it. So people need to get a grip.
I mean, Musa, you were there, in the Mourinho era, you know what I mean? And I used to see a lot in that time. And you know how toxic it was then, you know what I mean? In terms of the fans, they were very, very vocal against the manager. And honestly, you don't understand how vocal they were against the manager. But all of a sudden, the Glazers have kind of maybe done what they had to do. What they've done is they've divided and conquered. They haven't made it a one-sided affair. Whereas in Mourinho, it was one-sided. It was like, right, getting rid of this manager. It was, there was maybe a few Glazer protests and whatnot, but not as strong as the feeling is now. But when you look at it, the Glazers have done what they want. They've got a legend in, divided and conquered. They put the Red Army in just where the tunnel is, so then you can get a sense of togetherness maybe when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going back to his dressing room. They knew what they were doing, man. They knew what they were doing, man, and they kind of know that no matter what, and when they're doing certain videos away from home, and then they'll try to pan the camera where fans are singing Ollie's at the wheel and whatnot. So they know what they were doing, and it's almost like a PR kind of spin, isn't it? And they've got the club where they wanted, haven't they? Oh, you're on mute 1 second. Yeah, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I think looking back to it as well, the Jose Mourinho era is that I think Jose was more for the fans than we actually knew, if you understand, because Jose knew that he was working for some idiots who didn't have a clue what was going on. And Jose knew that they were fools. So Jose will come out and say certain things, but it will kind of antagonize us because it will get us mad. But Jose wanted us to be mad, so we can kind of be mad at the club and at the owners and stuff to get him the players that he wanted. But he didn't do it in a way where, like, we didn't know he was playing the game. Like, he wasn't winking. He should have gave us a wink. You know what I'm saying? When someone's trying to tell you something, but he's not saying it in a way where we can kind of agree, because we're thinking, right, you're disrespecting the club. But he's trying to say to you, man, we're not United. This is not the United that I wanted to join when Sir Alex Ferguson was here. We're not that team no more. We have the heritage, we have the history. But you see this Man United that you lot think I should be turning up, winning games, doing this. I don't even have the structure for it here. I don't even have people maybe like looking out for the best players or who are the new players coming in and we can get the right signings and stuff like that. And on top of that, I'm asking for certain signings because he's saying, look, Man City's got Pep. Pep buys 8 defenders. He's saying Pep buys it. They don't work. He goes in and gets them again. It doesn't work. He goes in. He says, I'm telling you, cool. I bought Bailly and I bought Lindelof. I'm telling you it's not working. Can I get a next one? Do you not want to win or don't you want to win? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I feel like when I look back at it and I look that he's the only, in that period of time, he's won the most trophies since we've departed with Alex Ferguson. I think if you look back at his tenure as well and see the things that he was saying and what he was trying to accomplish, I feel like it's the same structure that the board has now. But with Jose, they had an easy target. Ollie's not an easy target because he agrees with them. He says everything they want him to say. He does everything they want him to do. So that's why they're more supporting him, like you're saying, by creating this media or making it look like there's a load of fans that still support him. They're singing Ollie's at the wheel. They're always doing something to make it look like Ollie's still supported. But now that there's been that turn and people are not singing anymore and everyone's realizing that, you know what, something has to change. I feel like it's going to be much more difficult. But I just don't understand, why hasn't the club said anything since the City game? What's going on, bro?
There you go. Well, there's no nothing, and that's why people. That's
Nothing.
why I'm saying this protest is important. There's nothing been said. Nobody's talking. In this
Nothing.
club.
But you've said so, like, if the like, this is my thing. If we're playing so bad, and time is of the essence, why are people on holiday, bruv? Where's the coaching going on? If time is of the essence, you can't be in a situation where you walk into a store as a manager and you're like, this store is failing, it's a mess. We need to get this store back to the best. But guess what, guys? First, get on holiday. Go on. Like, who does that?
It's mad.
This is why I don't get what's going on. I'm thinking we're here and it's Wednesday and we still haven't heard anything from the club. And then when we look at the managers who want to come in, anyone with a bit of muscle or knows what he's actually talking about or knows what he wants to do, we're being told that we're not really going in for them. We like how they talk, but not really, because they're going to show us up and make us look like idiots. And this is why the Brendan Rodgers thing, I think it's a real thing. I don't know about you guys, but I think
it's a possibility. I think
it's a real possibility. And I don't diss Brendan because Brendan will go to City and win leagues because he will have the structure behind him to allow him to do what he needs to do. So I'm not looking at Brendan like he's an idiot, but at the same time, Brendan won't go into a club and cause a problem. He'll walk into a City that want things to run accordingly, want the best of everything, and will set up everything for him to succeed. If he comes to Man United, he's going to be fighting a battle. Ed Woodward and these men don't want you to succeed like that. So it's a problem because I look at Brendan and I think to myself, Brendan will actually be good for Man United, but he'll be good at Man United with a structure that I don't think Brendan can come in, lose a couple games. Maybe it doesn't work for him in the first 8-9 months. Some fan base might be not convinced by him anyway. Noise starts taking place in the media, and the ball just look like raw. As long as we don't get shouted at, let's just keep the pressure on Brendan. Like, I don't know. Our board is just a mess. It's a
mess. It's turmoil. That's what we said. It's a turmoil. I'm just going to read a couple of super chats. Reggie Fort says glaze it out is pointless. Only suitors that could and would buy United just bought Newcastle. Only people that can afford United aren't interested in footy. And also, Ejiro, big up to you for super chat. Goes, fans have understood it's beyond Ollie. Fans have to understand it's beyond Ollie. The owners are the problem. Top to bottom is toxic. We don't buy players that suit a type of system. We just buy players for commercial value. That's another point I wanted to bring up. They do, you know what I mean? But then again, you know what I mean? Like, you've given Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a 4-year contract, and it's just baffling. It's baffling for me. I just wanted to touch on Charlie. Do you think, in terms of the kind of legacy of Alex Ferguson and the feeling that, we're still trying to buy into that kind of DNA mold, and, do we have to understand that maybe, and that's why another reason why we need to protest on Saturday. I think there's a culture reset needs to happen now in terms of we need to get by to the modern way now where managers have 3 years. It's not a long-term project. They come in for 3 years. They do a job. They win a Champions League, maybe like Tuchel. They might win one Premier League, and then it kind of fizzles out. Then you bring a new manager, upcoming, maybe, I don't know, whoever comes in after that. Someone said, Adam used to say about Marco Rose and, that kind of new entrance of managers. Do you think now, Charlie, we need to get to that level? Are we stuck in the past still,
Yeah. I think there's a few different problems. I think one of those is the sort of this idea that people threw at us, give Ollie more time. Sir Alex took this long to win a league or to win a trophy. That was just ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. And there were some people that said about Jurgen Klopp as well. They said, look how long it took Klopp to win. You might as well give it to a man in the street then. You might as well have given the job to a man in the street and let him ruin the club for 5 years and give him more time. But yeah, in terms of what I want to see from us going forward, we need some sort of structure and plan, and some sort of this new manager that we might hire. I just don't know what's going to happen. I don't know whether Ollie is going to stay till the end of the season. If so, I've got no interest in going to Old Trafford. No interest at all in wasting every single week, every couple of weekends, just watching that crap. I've got no interest. No interest in even watching it on the TV. in all honesty. That's what he's done to me, really, and what the club's done to me. But if he doesn't stay to the end of the season, we need an interim to come in with a certain style of play, and then we need a new manager to sort of see if we can carry on that style of play. We need to have a project of long-term managers, sort of in the long term of what managers we're gonna have, because we don't want somebody coming in implementing a pressing style, and then at the end of the season we're going to hire somebody that wants to play more of a tiki-taka style or a different style of play. Obviously, if we win it, it's fantastic, but we need some sort of style of play. We need some sort of plan of what sort of managers we're going to go for. But the issue is that this board will not have a plan. They don't. All they care about is the money. And if the Champions League money stops coming in, or is it risk, then they're lax. But I'm prepared to boycott all the games for the rest of the season. In terms of the Glazers, obviously the Glazers are the biggest issue. I'm not interested in going to Old Trafford for the rest of the season. If there's no unilateral action, if there's nobody that's really, if there's not thousands that are doing it, me not going is not going to make much difference at all. We need collective action, and I'm afraid there's too many inside Old Trafford that are not interested in doing that. They're not interested in supporting the team for the next few months inside the stadium to really sort of make action. But also in terms of Ollie, I would not go to Old Trafford to show my sort of dismay towards the board not sacking Ollie. I'm just fed up of it all, and people need to realise, the players are not exempt from this as well, because some of the performances have been shocking. But basically, if I go to Old Trafford, I take my whole day out to go to Old Trafford. And I didn't go to the City game because I was ill, and I knew what was coming anyway. I knew what was coming because I'm excited. You asked me to if we could meet before the game, and I said, well, I'm ill, but I knew what was coming anyway. I knew exactly what was coming. So yeah, but there's too many people. There are too many people that will just not sacrifice themselves going to a match because they just it's like they cannot criticize the club or question their club at all. It's like as I said, blindly follow it. It's like if your girlfriend cheats on you 5 times and you're still with her, you're not gonna do what's best for you and leave her. And this is the thing. This is what it's all about. And we talked about action. You can't just sit there and let this rot. You can't just sit there and let the club rot. You've got to do something about it. And we saw before in when was it? Was it in the protest before the Liverpool game? Was it in May? Was it in April? I think it might have been in April, March, April, May, around that time. We saw people made a difference when they came together. And this is what I said, this is what I said earlier. I said on Twitter, we've got to stick together as a fan base. Stop this nonsense about being a proper fan. Hey, you're not a proper fan. You're not a proper fan because you don't go. You're not a proper fan because you don't. We've got to stick together as fans. This is what we've got to. The only way we're going to deal with this is if we stick together. So we need to stop calling each other out, stop abusing each other on Twitter, and actually get together and think of how we're going to sort this out.
I've got a couple of super chats to read. Go to the stadium even if your ticket's free. Your attendance represents market value. You cannot go to the stadium and be glazes out. And I think there's another one from where's it gone? I think I've lost it. Here. Licky Butt. Oh, where's it gone?
Yeah.
Licky Butt got turfed out and promoted DOF by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's another one that got dismissed. Licky Butt was probably doing a better job than Darren Fletcher. You know what I mean? And John Myrtle. Well, I don't know what John Myrtle's doing, by the way. He's just there for no reason. But I'm going to come to you next, Adam. In terms of possible suitors, there isn't anyone at the minute. Ralph Rangnick. Are you surprised? They're not looking for him. You know what I mean? It's
you know what, Saeed? Ralph Rangnick, my brother and I have been talking about him for at least 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And this is people just woke up to Ralph Rangnick. I've been talking about Rangnick for a long time because I've been talking about club. I wanted Thomas Tuchel. I wanted Julian Nagelsmann. I wanted Marco Rose. I wanted all of those managers, along to Ten Hag, for example, as well. And I've said that for me, and I've said that last year and the year before, for me, the dream scenario is you get in Ralph Rangnick halfway through the season after we sacked Jose Mourinho, before Ole, This is before Ole.
Yeah.
In Jose in December 2018. You give it to Ralf Rangnick. So at least during that time, he assesses the squad. He gets the fitness up because he wants to play quick counter-pressing football. At least you get in touch with the squad. And then you move him to a senior position and you let him decide the next manager. Because I can suggest managers, you can suggest manager. But if there's one thing I know, and I know for a fact, I'm not as competent as Ralf Rangnick. That's one thing for sure. So at least I want people competent in important positions, and you let them decide. And at the moment, the simple fact that we are hesitant with Rangnick and not going too sure about going through with him is beyond embarrassing, Saeed. It's beyond embarrassing because now we have a man who is begging to come and save us. And that doesn't happen. You are lucky if you have someone like that in your life. You're very, very lucky. And we're just not going for it. We're just not going for it. You bring in Ralf Rangnick and then you let him decide. And my only hope at this point, because I lost hope in this board, is I hope he comes in. I hope he as a caretaker, interim manager, and I hope he does very, very well until the summer. And that, like, as almost I want him to prove them wrong. Like, I want him to make good adjustment, move this person to there, just make good changes in the structure, so that at the end of the season they're like, yeah, you know what? Maybe this guy knows what he's doing. And of course he knows. He built all the Red Bulls programs, very successful programs, by the way. He is, as I said many times, he's the man responsible for Ralf Hasenhuttl, who's a very good manager, who's at Southampton now, Thomas Tuchel, Nagelsmann, Marco, all of them. And if he decides to go for Ten Hag, or if he decides to go for, I don't know, someone else, that's fine by me, because I trust him. And as you said earlier, it's a very good point. We need to move on from having a manager for 10 or 15 years. That just happens at clubs who don't have the same ambition at Manchester United. For example, David Moyes at Everton or Sean Dyche at Burnley. You know, those solid Premier League clubs who stay there like 7 years, 8 years. Solid, rock solid Premier League club. That's fine. But you cannot have that level of success that is expected from Manchester United and have the same manager for plus than 5 years. And the only reason why Pep and Klopp are still there is because they are winning. They are very, very competitive, but they would have been killed otherwise. Because there's no way on earth that Pep would still be at Manchester City if he was not racking up 25 points every season. So, going back to your question, I want Rangnick now, and I don't understand why he's not already in it, but I really, really want him, and I want him right now. Because if we get him, we can start being hopeful, not only for the football, but for the entire structure of a football club. We might have something that looks like a football club again. It is beyond the coaching if we get Rangnick. It is really beyond the coaching.
Musa, I'm going to come to you next. In terms of going forward, Watford, he might get a win there. I'm not confident in the way I say that. But then it's going back to square one against Chelsea away, back to square one, Arsenal at home. Then you got Crystal Palace, not far from you, Musa. They're doing well. Wouldn't surprise me if they go and beat us at home, And it's just a case of just kind of like, back and forth. Are we just getting top four this season with the FA Cup? It's not really a successful season with the way the kind of caliber players we're getting. I don't know where they're going, man. Where do you see this next few weeks going to Christmas?
To be honest, if Ollie's still in the job for Watford, I can't get past that. I can't even think about Watford. You know what I'm saying? I can't get past that. Forget Watford. If Ollie's still here by the time we get there, I don't know what we need to do. I don't know, but I can't think about Watford. Ollie cannot come back to Old Trafford to train anybody. That has to go. That has to stop, because he's been training. He doesn't train like he said. Like, I was hearing that they're still trying to get contracts ready for Carrick and that. What's going on, bruv? We can't allow Ollie to come back to Old Trafford and coach this squad. That is done. I don't know what's going on with the protest, but we got to carry on putting out content for these next 2 weeks, voicing our opinion on what's really going on. I don't think we should allow Ollie to be getting back at this club and coaching. You know what I'm saying? Like Adam was saying, I think we got, for me, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, who's coming in? I just want to know who's coming in. I want our focus to be on who's the next Man United manager. There shouldn't be a doubt about it, because I don't think there is a doubt across football that Oli has to go. Nobody doubts it. We've got our rival fans singing that Oli's at the wheel, bro. You know what I'm saying? Oli is in a situation. I don't even think Oli can come back and coach. Can you imagine Oli having to fly back from his family back into the media frenzy that's going on around Man United? He's been hang up, but he's been let to hang to dry by the people who said that they were backing him. Oli knows they're only saying this until they can position somebody else to really take over his position. He knows he's done at Man United. So if I was Oli, I'll be resigning. I'm not coming back because it's clear that I'm not going to survive this. So my thing is, I just don't understand why the structure of our team, firstly, is that why don't we have this structure like he was saying before, Adam, in terms of getting in what's the coach that we said we wanted to get in?
Rangnick.
Yeah, Rangnick, and then maybe look at Ten Hag or like even Van der Sar, CEO. Where's this structure of bringing in Van der Sar, Ralph, Ten Hag, like having this solid base that can really take us to the top? Do you know what I'm saying? Because imagine we had Van der Sar and then we had Ralph and then we had Ten Hag from Ajax. This is a whole new philosophy, a whole new way forward for Man United and really being able to compete with City and Liverpool, who were so far behind. And I look at Chelsea. Chelsea was us until they got rid of Lampard. They had a wonderful squad, wonderful players. Lampard wasn't doing the business. Everybody was saying, who are they going to get now? It's the middle of the season, blah, blah, blah. The guys went and won the European trophy. What are you talking about? It shows you the level of the squad. We're in a position ourselves right now, Man United. If Oli goes, we can win Champions League. We got the squad to do it.
It's not far.
How many games are we away from the final? How many games are we away from a final?
Exactly. Competition are different. It's not like the league. It's different. And as you said, Musa, it's a very good point. If you have, for example, Van der Sar CEO, Ralf Rangnick as DOF, and for example, whoever he picks as managers or Ten Hag, whoever, well, then the fan base won't really have a problem with having Ed Woodward in charge of making deals because he wouldn't have anything to do with the football.
Nothing.
So it would be Woodward stays, and he has nothing to do with the football, and he just make deals, like for example, I don't know, True Religion or Tiger or whatever. That's fine. That's absolutely fine by me. Because at the moment, this is what you know what bothers me really? And I don't understand how the Glazers are yet to clock that having poor people when it comes to football at both level is actually costing them money. This is what I don't understand. If you have, for example, good people making good decisions, if you have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager, you believe it makes you feel like you need to spend 450 million every summer to compete. If you get a manager like Klopp or Ten Hag, you need to spend probably 175. I don't know how they don't understand that. Because now, if you have Ole, you need a new midfield, you need a winger, you need a right back, you need a centre half, and you're like, wait, we got quite a few talented players here. Do we really need all of those positions? The midfield and the right back are probably the two positions that you can say, you know what, maybe that would need improving really. But if you get a very, very good manager, you're like, okay, maybe we don't need like 3 or 4 positions, and in those positions we need like Jadon Sancho and Varane and Cristiano. Like those are big money signings, and people crediting Ole for the rebuild and everything. Yeah, but as I said the last time, buying, for example, Declan Rice for 100 million, if we sign Declan Rice for 85 to 100 million pounds, or signing, for example, Yuri Telemans from Anderlecht for like 20 million. Well, that's a very good rebuild, and that's a very good signing, and that is a very obvious signing that has more to do with the club being rich than it has to do with the coach having a very good eye for scouting talents. So I can't even give him credit for that. So you need to go and get the players. You need to go to a League One team and get Riyad Mahrez for 7 million. And then you make him one of the Premier League's best players.
Exactly, but he won't do that though. He won't do. He did that with Dan James. He couldn't do that with Dan James, and then he sold.
This is why Oli, we have to stand firm on this, because I look at the Man United second string team, and I'm looking. I think this team beats the first team.
Oh, big time!
I look at it all the time.
Yeah.
I look at the midfield. I look at Matic, Van der Beek, Pogba in the 10, and then I look at Sancho on the right, Martial on the left, Cavani up front. What's going on here?
These got second team. Tellez left back. Yep. Dallo right back. Bailly and I don't know.
Bailly Lindelof.
Bailly Lindelof.
Exactly.
Henderson in
Yeah.
there.
Tell us like we got. So I look at and this is what we have at our disposal, bro. A serious squad.
We have two
Oli
starting 11 that are of top quality. You can put two starting 11 with completely different.
Which one would you rather have, Adam? The second team or the first
I'll have
team?
the second team all day.
I'm having the second team without having to think about it because there's
Yeah.
something very easy about having good technical, intelligent players playing together. They
Yes.
are on the same wavelength. You don't even need to coach them. And if you coach them, well, that is a very dangerous team.
Do you know why? The second
Crazy,
team
man.
is serious because the second team is the technical team that Oli can't coach.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
probably
Second
the
team
best way
is the
to kind of sum it
technical-
up.
Is the technical team he can't coach, so he benches them. Van der Beek, I can't deal with you. Pogba, I can't deal with you. Martial,
Sancho.
you like these touches. Sancho, all
Matic,
of that.
Mata.
Mm.
Can't do with those. And this this is stunning because those are all players that are looking for the pass. They want to play as a team. So Ole, this is why I just started to understand. I'm not even blaming Rashford and Greenwood for being as selfish anymore. They just clock the fact that if they shoot and they score, they will start. And this is something Martial and Sancho are yet to clock. They need to get it. They need to get on the program. Shoot, just take a shot. Just take a shot. And if it goes in, maybe you'll start the next game. And this is an embarrassing thing. This is not coaching. It's like bringing the players down. Like you are building bad habits, very very bad habits. Don't pass, shoot. You have Cristiano Ronaldo in the box the other day making a pass to Greenwood, and then you have Marcus Rashford outside of the box, not making a pass to Ronaldo inside the box. I mean, come on, just allow it.
Anyway, people, we're gonna wrap it up there. It's been a very, very kind of therapeutic 1 hour. We're discussing United, and that's all we can do, discuss, because the club is not taking any action. Saturday, for me, I still will be attending the protest, no matter what. So if you're there Saturday, you can make it 3:00 Saturday. And for me, I just want answers in it. It's all about exposure for me. If this gets through to the board that we want to change and we want kind of people in the board running our club the way it's supposed to be run. Listen, we know that the Glazers aren't just going to leave like that. We know that. What I mean? The only reason for me everyone had a kind of a united front was because of the Super League. But I think this is just as big as the Super League, because at the end of the day, it's about having a reason to fight for, a reason to watch United. Like Charlie said, he doesn't feel like watching United in a minute. This, for me, is a reason. People are saying to me, football's not about winning. Listen, man, we're not back in the 80s anymore. This football now is to win. It's to win, and that's all it is, you know what I mean? So for me, people, sorry, go on, Adam.
No, I'm saying it has always been about winning.
Yeah,
this
absolutely,
is how
man.
Suarez built this team.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why I say, man, I couldn't care less if it's even 10 people come to the protest. Honestly, I couldn't care. As long as we're there to protest and we're there to voice our opinion, that's all that matters with me. And if people want to come, then it's up to them. But people, we're going to wrap up the podcast here. Please, there's been 1,000 people watching throughout the whole podcast, so big up to you for watching the show. We're hopefully every Wednesday, 2 p.m. live, because you said you guys liked it, that it was live, so big up to you guys. We're going to go around and let the people know where they can find you. Adam, first of all, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, on Twitter at Adam Manred, and thank you for the last therapeutic hour, as you said. And so needed to go out. Needed to chest it out.
Absolutely. Charlie, hopefully, 2 weeks of just, relaxing, and then we'll see where we go after that, eh? But where can they find you?
Yeah. Threadband Chazza on Twitter and YouTube. And thanks a lot for having me, Saeed.
Yep, their handles are there. As also Musa, let them know what you're doing at Resale. You're at the hub right now.
Yeah, Resale, CIC, we're UK's largest trainer bank. We distribute shoes to the homeless, unaccompanied minors, blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows where we're at. If you got some trainers you no longer need, just send them down. We get them to the right people. So we're here, man. You can always check me out on the socials. We're here.
Where's the place, by the way, so people know?
We're in Brixton. We're based in Brixton Village. We're here. We got a sneaker cleaning service. People dropping shoes. You get them cleaned, or you can just donate them to the homeless. We work with all the brands, getting shoes to young kids in school, allowing them to play sports. So we work closely with Adidas, Nike, Puma. We've just been busy down there, to be honest, man.
Absolutely, man. Good cause. So make sure you go support them. And yeah, man, big up to you. But people, enjoy the rest of your day. Man United in turmoil. Take care. Bye bye. Peace.